You like are very into like clothing, fashion, that kind of stuff, or no?
I
Like,
mean, not kind of, but not necessarily. I'm literally like a suburban mom, and when I do go out or try to take pictures, I do try to look a little cool. So,
a little wait, I do
yeah,
try to look a little cool. Okay.
just a little bit.
Okay. I like well, I was asking because you know who you remind me of is Samantha. You have a similar Samantha
I
vibe.
know, but she has so much um, like charisma, and she's so put together, and I'm not. I'm literally wearing leggings right now, and if I don't have to wear like a bra, I'm literally in sweatpants usually most of the time. So tank top, sweatpants, and I just put like a nice shirt to make it look like,
I think you're
I'm
very
dressed up.
very sophisticated, right? You guys, right before we like literally start recording, Jeannie just goes into like her whole like energy mode. Like it's you're either like very poised, or I feel like you're just like let's get shit done, like all over the place. I don't know if you're like that in your personal life, but you were just like, yeah. So I saw these earrings; they were like $90, and then I went to go pee, and then all of a sudden I found them for like $10, and I'm like, the fuck did that story come from? Like, what the
I
hell?
know, it was so random. I think it's because I work so much out in the field. I'm always driving, so I
Yeah,
have to like, go to the bathroom somewhere. And I randomly pulled over to a Marshalls and Home Goods and saw these earrings, and I was like, "Oh my god, I've seen these online,
I
but
love them.
they're expensive and they're costume jewelry." And I'm like, they were 9.99, and I'm like, now
Fucking
I look
did
so
the
fancy.
shit. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, I know why you're out in the field, but if you want to tell everyone kind of what you do, what your job currently is, how you got into it, I would love to know a little bit more about that because I know your background. You guys, Jeannie's a client of mine. Let me tell you, this girl fucking hustles and has done a lot over the last like 6 months in her like life and business. But your like business life, your like career life is like a big part of what you do. So can you give us a little bit of like insight into that?
Absolutely. So basically, I have a full-time job. I'm actually a medical sales rep, and I came from a nursing background. And a lot of the times it's really difficult for, I think, clinicians and nurses to think of their lives or their work life outside of a hospital or clinical setting. And I really just started posting that content online to share my life, and it kind of grew in that aspect.
Yeah.
And I love working. Love what I do. I'm always out in the field. I'm driving, but I have lots of flexibility and autonomy. And so I love to share my life online that people can still be like a badass fucking female. You can
Yeah.
still go to work if you want to and have stable income. You can still be present with your kids. You can
Yeah.
still post content online and grow your own like side business that becomes a full on business for you.
Yeah.
Hence why like I met Ashley. I actually met you a long time ago, and it was actually on TikTok. And I'm like, oh my God, she's fucking talking directly to me. And I just remember
Check in the marketing box. Good job,
checking the
Ashley.
marketing box. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell? I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just scrolling on TikTok. And I'm like, okay, it's either a pair of Chanel shoes or I'm going to like invest to work with her. So let's see what it's at. And that now look at us now.
I'm like, do you really like care much about your appearance? Are you into fashion? You're like, no. And like your first example is like, buy a pair of Chanel shoes. I don't even own a pair of Chanel shoes. Are they comfortable? Do you own Chanel shoes?
They're very comfortable. They're so
Really?
comfortable.
I want to
Yeah.
get the little flat ones. The little, they're like tan with the like the black or
Yeah,
whatever.
they're super cute. I
Oh,
think I probably have a few, but that's the thing. I usually buy like one pair a
mm.
year, and that year I was like, "You know what? I'm just
I invest
who
with
the
this
fuck is
right now
Ashley?"
on TikTok. I like
Yeah.
it though. But you know what I really actually love about your personality is you are always like, I love what I'm doing, but you, in a very healthy way, always want more. Like you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm doing really well here. This feels really good, but like, what would it look like to add this into the mix? What would it look like
Yeah.
to do this better? You're very good at that, which is why you're a very good entrepreneur. But
Mhm.
obviously, you started in nursing, right? That was like right out of school. That's what you did.
Well, I mean, I have a marketing background, and then I left my corporate career and went to become a nurse. That's
Okay.
how it happened. And then started working in the hospital. I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, this is
Yeah.
not what I signed up for. Like, I'm not doing that." So
Yeah.
then I kind of pivot. So I
Yeah.
think I kind of like, but you're right. It's like the entrepreneur. I always want more. Like, I don't know how to be comfortable
You're a
because I
hungry
get too
bitch. You're
comfortable.
like,
Yeah, I'm
oh,
a hungry bitch. And it's not even about like money hungry. I'm just hungry for more, like more
yeah.
knowledge, more fun.
Yeah.
Just, I
Yeah.
love it.
You don't like stay content, and I think that's a very like healthy thing. But that's why I asked because I'm like I don't remember if you got so your first degree was marketing and then you went back and got a nursing degree.
Yeah.
Why? Like
I
okay,
don't
tell me,
fucking know.
why did you choose marketing and then why did you think oh I'm going to go from business to nursing. That's a big change.
I know. But you know what? I had a lot of I have a lot of empathy. So I
Okay.
think that empathy piece and the human aspect got me really interested in going to healthcare. And that's
Mhm.
really, I was like, oh, it's stable. I can really I had this empathy for people. I can bring that side out and really like
Yeah.
make big changes for these people. And then I started working in it. I'm like, well, this fucking sucks. Like,
Yeah.
well, it sucks. So let me move back to corporate and still do a little bit of healthcare and a little bit of
Yeah.
sales. So
Okay. I was gonna say, how long did you last in nursing? I don't want to say last. That's mean. It's like as if nursing is the worst thing. I was like nursing. All I remember, if I was at the library, all the nursing students. It was like
I
the
know.
hardest major, so really hard to get into. Good to get into a good program. Then all my friends are nurses, teachers. I always say that. Like I'm the frigid bitch. My friends all have the hearts.
Yeah.
Literally, my nursing friends, when they would tell me about their like day to day, especially during COVID, it made me want to cry. It is tough. Nursing is like the toughest. How long did you do nursing for?
Probably like 3 years, and then finally when I, was having a family, I was like, "Okay, this is not something sustainable for me when I have young children." So, I kinda started shifting and pivoting out. So, I'm still in healthcare, but
Yeah.
not directly a nurse.
Yeah. So when you decided to shift, was it like work life balance? Was it more money? Was it all of it? Like, how'd you come into the career that you have now?
Definitely was both.
Yeah.
I was stuck and I was like, "I need to make more money
Mhm.
and I need to get out." And so I actually went to become a nurse practitioner and I went to school, and while I was in school, I was like, "Oh, fuck, like, I don't know if I want to be doing this, like, 10, 20 years from now,
Yeah.
even though I'm, like, spending all my time doing this." And
Yeah.
so I started looking for a job, and I was, like, talking to my husband, talking to family members and friends. I'm like, "Where do you work? How do I get this, like, more corporate lingo going on? Like, you've
Yeah.
gotta be really business savvy." And
Mhm.
so I started applying, and luckily enough, I landed a role in a pharmacy, and
Mhm.
so I literally dropped out of my program and shifted over, and then I was like, this whole big thing is like, my god, there's, like, this whole life outside of healthcare that you can actually work, make
Mhm.
really good money, and not be tied to, like, a hospital and clock in and clock out. I was
Right,
like,
right,
"What?"
right.
Like, I
Yeah.
never knew you have to clock in and clock out. I'm like, "What is this nonsense?"
You
Like,
kind of
this
don't know about jobs until you like get into certain career fields. Like I feel like I've shared this story like 50,000 times. But I remember in college, I was sitting next to this girl. I was like, "What are you majoring in?" Of course, I'm like business, right? Like everyone was a businesses. Like you might
yeah,
not know all the different areas, but you're like business, right? You're gonna wear a suit. You're gonna like hold a planner. You're gonna like probably sit at a desk. But someone said like I don't even remember. They're like, my vision is to work in like gastroenterology or something. I can't even say it.
yeah,
And another person's like, oh yeah, I want to be like a blah. And I'm like, I don't even know what these fields are. And it's kind of interesting because I'm like, how did I ask them? And they're like, they couldn't even give me an answer. I'm like, how did you figure out about these fields? And they're like, well, my friend does it. I have this. I'm like, so I guess I have boring friends because they're all teachers, nurses, or business people.
yeah.
I don't know any other job. Like you kind of don't know about all these fucking weird ass fields until you like either get into it or you know someone that already does it.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't have any idea. My whole family's like, "You're either gonna be a doctor or a lawyer or in IT." And I was like, "Ugh, I don't wanna do any of that."
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. You know what I actually really want to know because you're talking, and as a pivoter, I would call
Mhm.
myself that. I'm like, yep, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. I bet there are people who are listening right now who are like, I don't have the balls to do that, or like, how do you know when to make a change? I think what the reason you and I get along, well, I think we get along well. The reason you and I get along really well is because like we just were like, okay, this isn't working, sounds good. Like, how do we attack it? Whatever. You and I just look at business and life that way. Like, if something
Yeah.
doesn't feel good, I think we have very good natural guts to be like, you know what, I
Mhm.
think it's time to like explore something else, or I'm ready to abandon this, like literally like stopping school. Where'd you get that from? Have you just always
I have no idea. I mean, it's the intuition. I follow my feelings. Like,
mm,
it's just that intuition. I think it's really about practicing being really, really, like, aware
yeah,
of my surroundings and what my future looks like or what it would look like if I didn't change, and I don't think it was always that way. I mean, I grew up in a really different type of household, so I think I wasn't I wasn't around friends that were, like, extremely successful. I didn't have that. So I think it was, like, the knowing, the curiosity, and kind of like, "Well, if they can do that, how can I do that?" And
yeah,
not just sit back and be like, "Well, that negative mindset, like, "Well, they fucking have it. This is my life." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna build my life," kinda
Yeah.
thing. I think that's what it is, being really curious and just like, yeah, I'm scared, I get nervous, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I like that. Did you like come from a household that was pretty ambitious? Like it was interesting, like 2 seconds ago, you go, yeah, like my parents told me I was gonna be like a doctor or a lawyer. My parents never asked me if I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. It was always like, you're gonna go into business or this, mostly because like I wouldn't say I'm not smart. I just was never like the excelled in school type of person. I worked my ass off and I was a hard worker, but like I think my parents knew I'd probably do like business, events, like something creative and interesting and like sales driven. But
Yeah.
you didn't say any of that. You were like, doctor, lawyer, like
Well,
very
that's all
high
they know.
jobs.
We are not I don't think we are my dad was a welder, like,
Oh, okay.
my
Oh,
mom
really?
does nails, like, straight up Asian, but I think I think that it's like that's
Straight
all
up
they
Asian.
know.
Okay. My
That's
parents were
like
not Asian, so maybe that's all
yeah,
they know.
maybe. I was like, "I don't know." I'm just kind of like they put these people on a pedestal and they're like, "These are the only 2 options." And I'm like,
Hmm.
"I'm not really that smart." Like, I'm not that smart, but I'm really street smart, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I am. Like, witty, right? Like, you
okay.
can
Yeah, yeah.
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 So I'm like, "You know what?"
You don't take your street sense. It's not even, you know what's interesting about street smart? I fucking can't talk ever. All these podcasts, every podcast episode I do, I'm like, I can't talk today. But like truly, street smart is not really just street smart. It's honestly having the ability to be open to the idea of change and being like, I'm not going to accept what's in front of me if it doesn't feel good. Like it's just like that pull to be like, all right, something's not feeling good. Like I'm going to make a change or I'm going to adjust or react. Most
Yeah.
people just freeze. You and I just kind of are always like moving forward. Like that's, I literally like, I'm like, you and I are very similar to that. Like again, when you're talking, I'm like, she pivoted here and did this and did this. I'm like, none of that freaks me out. But I bet people are going to watch this episode and be like, I wouldn't know how to do that. So you don't feel like you got that. That's more of a nurture or a nature thing, not a nurture thing.
No, I
Who
think
you
it just
are.
happened that way. I wasn't always this way at
Yeah.
all.
Really?
I just no, I don't know. Now you're making me really think.
Oh my god, I'm so fucking sorry.
Oh my
I mean,
god.
that's a good thing. I want you to like think, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I'm curious because one of the things I did want to address that you did say is like you come from an Asian background and very stereotypical, but usually, and I did have a lot of friends from an Asian background growing up, very intentional, very studious, work hard, be the best
Yeah.
in class, good grades. Do you feel that was not necessarily your
I
experience?
mean, that's what they want, but that's not what they got. I
Hmm.
was bad, Like,
What does
I'm
that
not
mean?
gonna go to school. What the fuck? Okay, fine. No. Yeah,
What do you mean by bad? Like, did you were like rebellious or like?
yeah, like, just party and like do I think what I know now, I matured way later than I should have. Like if I had all the resources, I would have probably matured when I was like in college, but I
Yeah.
think I matured after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Was
now
it
I'm like
like
trying
led
to
to
catch
that
up.
or just time? Like, where did that come from?
It's literally probably time. And I look back even to like how I grew up and I'm like, I don't want my kids to grow up like that. We want to
Mm-hmm.
have more opportunities for them. And I think that's like the thing. Like, I just keep
Yeah.
wanting to do more and be better because I want to give them like more opportunities.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, that makes sense. I guess like that's part of it. When do you, how do you, can I ask you how old you were when you became a mama?
I think
Do you
it
not
was,
remember? Wait, she's like,
hold on.
hold up. Great question, Ashley. The
Right,
most
a long time
question
ago.
I'll
I
ask you
was,
today.
I was 29 or 30, 29
Okay,
or
so it's
30.
not like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so interesting. You know what I actually have decided? This is a mom thing. We're like on a lot of topics today. I am getting very pet peeved about people responding to like when people have kids, like you were really an older mom or like a really young mom, or whatever. I'm like, who fucking cares? Like people have kids at all different ages, but I will say you didn't have kids extremely young. Like you weren't like you had kids
Right.
in school or
I mean,
anything.
I still have friends now who are like in their 40s and they're getting pregnant. It's totally normal. I'm like,
Mm-hmm. So I had older parents. Like so my mom had her 2 kids, me and my brother, at like 36 and 40. And I always thought that was really smart. I was like, she, was more
yeah.
mature. She figured her stuff out. She was more financially responsible. I think that that's like totally normal. So was it kids? Like, do you feel like when you were ready to have kids, like
100%. It was definitely the kids that made me mature and grow up and do more of these pivots because it wasn't until like I had a kid I was like, "Oh shit, like I've been spending money like crazy. I need to be
yeah.
more like financial literacy." We didn't really have that. it
Mm-hmm.
was just like you just save and you pay everything by cash. Is everything. Like my parents were like, there's no such thing as credit card. Everything is cash. You buy a
Oh,
house in cash, you buy a car in cash, everything is cash. And I was like, that's actually not how you're supposed to do that. I think we should be leveraging debt to make money. But
mm,
it's things that I had to learn. But it wasn't until I think I had my kids. I remember I was at the hospital about to be induced and I literally was reading a financial book and I was like, this is the goal. And then like I'm giving birth and then like I was like, we have a plan. Like within 6 to 12 months, we're going to be out of consumer debt and blah, blah,
oh
blah.
my
My
God.
husband was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, we're going to pay off all my school loans. And so it wasn't, I think it wasn't until I had the kids that I was like, oh, okay, I need to stop being so selfish with my life and think that I have so much
Whoa.
time.
I've never I've never thought that I'd ever hear someone be like, "Yep, I was sitting in the hospital, ready to get shot up with God knows I don't even really know what
Yeah,
emotion is, but I know it's a whole process that I don't need to know about." But you're in there and you're reading a finance book.
I was. I was
Oh,
like,
wait, what
well,
book was it? Was it good? Was it
no,
helpful?
it's not. I kind of am embarrassed to even say the book.
Wait, what is it?
Please. Really? I'm gonna okay, share the book. It's okay. It helped me, right? So I was reading Dave Ramsey's book.
Oh,
Um
I was reading the Dave Ramsey book while at the hospital.
at the hospital. I was like, I really was. So I mean, I'm not lying. I
No,
did read it and
okay.
then I had a plan and it worked.
You know
So
why his book didn't work for you? Because he appeals, no offense, Dave Ramsey, don't sue me. He appeals to poor people. He really does. He appeals to people who are like, they need the kind of step one, step two.
well, I
You,
was poor. I was like,
yes, but not like up here. Like so this is, I was literally just explaining this to my friend who is asking about my business. And she's like, what's like the difference of your programs or whatever? And I was like, because I was like, we cover similar stuff in like like say my headquarters, right? Like that program.
Mhm.
And then like a DBM where you're at. You were brand new, very early in business when you came to that program, but you did not need just step one, step two of like, let me get going. I could have given you the whole fucking plan and you just skyrocket. So
Yeah.
that's why it didn't work for you is you might need step one and step two, but you immediately are going to soar past that and like give it all to me. Like you are that person who can tackle all the things and figure all those things out. And like he's for the people who just kind of need that beginning.
The
Like
very first steps. Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, it was helpful.
it was
Thank
helpful.
God.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. The fact is though, you're sitting in the hospital about to have a baby
Yeah.
and then you're doing that. So you have your kid. How far apart are your kids?
4 years apart.
Okay.
My oldest is 10.
Okay.
So that was like 10 years ago. But it's been a long journey.
Oh
And
my
now
God.
I want to share that journey with everybody else that might have been
Yeah.
me 10 years
Yeah.
ago. So that
Yeah.
way they can get themselves out of that situation.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit then about your current reality, which is you are really building something really incredible on the side of a job that you also really enjoy. So where did that was I the person that like sparked that where you're like, I need to like start a business?
Yeah, you really
Really?
were.
I didn't do
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
It
I like that.
it was way before DBM.
Yeah.
So, I post online and I guess it's more like an influencer, like just
Mhm.
posting day in my life, that type of
Yeah.
content. But I had so many people asking me, like, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you get there? And I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way for me to help other people that have these questions. And I think like throughout the last like 2 years, I decided, okay, I'm not just going to post things for fun and try to be
Mhm.
like a content creator, but maybe actually make a business out of it. And so I started coaching
Mhm.
and seeing results. And then I turned the coaching into an actual program with
Yeah.
like a basic framework that the framework fucking works. And then
Mhm.
I do the exact same steps in my own framework to test the waters all the time. I'm like in the weeds with them and I know that it works. And
Yeah.
so now I'm just like, hey, 5, 10 year ago, Jeannie, like, where are you? I'm talking to you. Like, I literally have a book for you and I can like walk you through it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind
Can
of
you
thing.
tell everyone, because obviously I know your business, can you tell everyone like what were you posting about? What were people most interested about? And then how do you take that and then turn it into a business?
Sure. So I
Sure.
coach,
Thank you.
sure. I coach about, a lot of times people are just asking for like one thing, like, what job title did you look for? Like, I'm a nurse. How did you get that job? And I'm like, it's not that fucking easy. Like, you literally have to know what you're saying and what you're doing when you're doing it, or you look ridiculous and they're not going to hire you. So I turned one step, which was like a freebie I would offer people, which was like a list of job titles and basic steps, right?
Mhm.
And I grew a mailing list. I think I maybe have like maybe I don't know, maybe 10,000 people on my mailing list. I don't know, somewhere between there. And I watch content online and I'm like, I know that I need something cohesively. Like I want to put something together in a
Mhm.
package for someone. So I need to go find someone that has put something in a package to show me how to do that. And that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
Um, and so I started putting things into different types of packages and trying to see which package works best,
Yeah.
changing it from digital
Mhm.
product to an ebook to a template to a guide to coaching calls. And now I'm like, okay, now I know what works
Yeah.
because one thing is not going to work for somebody. I can meet you for 1 hour and that's going to give you some insight, but it won't give you enough to
Mhm.
make a change. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so that's really how my coaching business just started.
Mhm.
And I love it because I can do it with my full-time job where I just work on it like an hour at night after the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
And then everything else is really set up where well, I'm trying more like an automated type of way. So that
Mhm.
way it's just easier for me because I don't see myself right now. People ask me as well, like, do you make more money like in this job versus your normal day job? And I was like, no, not necessarily, but I kind of I like having a stable
Yeah.
job. I really do. And it's not stable because it's sales, but I
Mhm.
do like it. I still get that drive from it. And then
Mhm.
I really enjoy helping other people. So I think that empathy, going back to being a nurse and that empathy that I feel, I'm still having it now because I'm working with nurses that are like either new grad nurses who are like, what did I sign up for? Or
Mhm.
I'm working with a nurse that's like over 30 years of experience. I'm working with nurse practitioners, pharmacists. They're
Mhm.
like, I've been put on this pedestal and now I don't know how to get off of it, but I
Yeah.
want to do something else. And I'm so smart. I was like, you're so smart. You literally take care of people's lives, but you
If you
literally
pass
have,
that fucking nursing exam, you're fucking smart, okay?
you're
Like, that's
so
all I'm gonna
smart.
say. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, you're so smart, but let me just teach you how to talk like a business person for a little bit.
Well, it makes sense because now hearing that you like majored in business, I'm like, yeah, that's where that like business knowledge, or maybe you just already had it, but that makes a lot of sense because really the women that you're working with are nursing, right? They're
Yeah.
in nursing. And their whole vision is like, I want to be able to do what I love, which is help people just like you did, but I want to
Yeah.
do it from like a sales lens, or I want to do it
Hmm.
in some capacity where I can make more, have more balance, maybe not tied to a hospital. And I really want to be able to stay in the same type of career, but a very different job. And I think that that's like very cool. When Lexi and I did a podcast last week, we did like a reflection coming out soon, you guys, about like different types of businesses. I was like, what's the most surprising thing about working with me? She goes, people make money selling a lot of weird shit. Like I used to think it's just like you teach someone like business or you do
Yeah.
this or it's a service. And with coaching, I do think there's people out there that try to just make coaching out of like nothing that they're actually good at. They just try to like make up a skill. But you had a very specific skill. You're like, look, you can't just go from nursing to like, sales, like medical sales. You can't just do that by knowing nursing. You have to have business acumen. You have to understand how to connect with people. You have to be able to be persuasive in your job interview. And you took kind of business knowledge, you integrated it through the lens of people who came from a nursing background, made it easy for them to understand those skill sets, how to package that into something that then they're more marketable to go into those fields, even if that wasn't actually their background. And I think that that's really cool is that was something that you did and you just turned it into literally a business. It's like,
Right. Because people say that. They say it all the time. You hear it all the time. They're like, what are you good at doing? And then just sell that. And I was like, okay. But then I feel good at the end of the day because it's like, it's
yeah.
actually something realistic. And
Hmm.
I think a lot of times people are just missing the logistical part of it
Hmm.
because I think as like a healthcare professional, I want everything like, I will need to see the whole picture. So that
Hmm.
way I know what I'm walking into. And that's the scary part. I think a lot of people are scared to
Hmm.
do anything different. So I think if you give them an opportunity to see what the whole picture looks like from a high level,
Hmm.
like a strategic high level, then be like, now I have the steps for you. Are you willing to take the steps? Like that's up to you. You can do it or you don't. Like I don't fucking care. It's up to you. There's enough people out here fighting for
Yeah.
those jobs and they don't even have a nursing background. They
Yeah.
fucking have a business background. They can sell.
Hmm.
So they probably can do better than you. But
Yeah.
actually you're smarter than them. So are you going to fucking sit there and let them do it? That's my thought process. I'm like, go ahead.
Wow, motivation by G this morning. Holy shit, I feel like
Oh,
going to church. It's
I'm
true.
just saying.
I'm just saying, no, and well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is your personality. You're very like, there's no fucking excuse. Make it happen. Have you had like, I guess when I think about like your business and like balancing that, have you had moments where you're like, why am I doing this? Or have you figured out a way to like do both? I think a lot of people would be curious about your productivity because like it is hard but very manageable to run a full-time job and start a business. So like
Yeah.
how do you decide what to prioritize, what to do? Like how do you balance that? And also you're a mom. So you're like
Um,
like you're a busy person.
yeah, honestly, I was getting burnt out and I found you and you were able to help me scale in a way that it made it easier for me.
Uh-huh.
So I actually can take on more if I want to, if I
Mhm.
need to.
Yeah.
And I think that just put the ease. Like my goal last year, I was like, I want to help at least, I gave a number. I said 20 people a month.
Yeah.
That was like my number. And I was like, how am I going to do that? I don't want to be on the phone with 20 people every week. That's
Yeah.
like 100 million phone calls. I don't wanna do that.
100 million
So,
in one. Yes,
a
exactly.
100 million. So, I think, the best thing for me to do is I've learned that when I want something, I just fucking pay for it. So,
Yeah.
if you fucking want something and you wanna get somewhere fast and someone's already gotten there, then I just will, like, give you the money and just tell me how to do it. And
Mhm.
that is my thought process, and so I think that's helped me be able to work full time
Yeah.
and, like, run a business. I guess I really have a business now. I have an online service business.
Mhm. You do.
Um, I do.
Mhm.
And I just have to continue posting content, continue to be marketable because just like in a sales position, like it's
Mhm.
visibility. If you're not seen, then you're not remembered.
Yeah. And you know what I actually didn't have to teach you is like leaning into the things that actually move the needle. You're very good at like, all right, I have to get in front of people. So like I can't make an excuse about that. Not like I can go like months and months and months without doing stuff. Like you are very consistent. Is that like just a natural discipline thing that you have, or just because you're hungry, or like what where the fuck
It
do you
must be because I'm hungry because I'm not consistent like in real life, like working out or anything. Like, no, it's only in my
fair?
brain. It's that entrepreneur brain. I think like it's in our DNA. Like
Yeah.
it's not something you can build, to be honest with you. My brain goes like 24/7.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy all the time.
Yeah. That's
It
interesting.
doesn't yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of right. I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, I really struggle to train discipline. It's like a very difficult thing to. I mean, because people come to me and they're like, I work a job or I do this and I can't do it all. And I'm like, you can. It's a choice, and also like
Mhm.
knowing what to prioritize to be intentional and what like moves the needle. Like for you, you're like, I could even do all those calls if I wasn't working a full time job, but like that doesn't make sense. So naturally, I have to figure out a way to package together something that's going to be more
Yeah.
scalable, or I can only do X amount of content. So like these are the methods I'm going to do it because it's easiest for me to produce that. Like kind of do those things very naturally. So that's why I was like, oh, it's just you're right. It's like a discipline thing that you've like figured out. How would you
But
feel?
it's like the only thing that I'm disciplined in. Like I'm not disciplined in my own.
I bet that's like not true. I bet it's just the things you're probably picking out the things that you're like not disciplined in as like the driver that you're not disciplined. Like working out. I'm not disciplined in working out. Horrible.
No, but I don't know. I guess it works out because like the kids go to bed and I told
Mhm,
myself like, okay, I'm going to go into my office. I'm going to
mhm,
stand my desk up. I can't sit down. I'm not allowed to sit down until I finish this one like
mhm,
project. And
mhm,
so I literally will stand here and finish the one project and then I would turn it off and go to bed. So I think time blocking is probably
mhm.
what helps the most.
Yeah. Have you like thought about like your kids' futures and like what you want them to do? Because your career has been like a really big part of yours. Like, what's your vision in helping them like pick careers? Is it the money piece? Is it specific industries? Do you
It's
want them to try
anything that they want to do.
Yeah. You're like open
Anything.
to everything? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even care. I'm very supportive. I'm actually very not a strict mom at all. I'm very supportive. I'm just like, whatever you want to do, whatever you decide, I'm all for it.
I really love that. Well, because when you were talking about like your own like childhood, do you feel like you're parenting the same way that your parents parented you, or like completely different?
I think it's different.
Really? How?
Yeah. It was too structured and I'm giving them no structure. I don't give my kids structure.
I give them no structure. Okay, I'm assuming you give them like a little bit of structure. What is like no structure in your opinion?
Okay, so I see people now. I don't know if this is American thing or what, but it's like you go to school and then you have like practice 5 days a week, and then you're doing golf, and then you're doing like basketball, and then you do like lacrosse, and then you're doing band. And I'm like, I don't even want to do that. So I don't give them a million activities. If they
Mm-hmm.
want to do it, we will try it, we will do it, we can afford it. But if you try it and you don't like it, then it's fine. And
Yeah.
I don't have structure. I know people are like, you're only allowed to have an iPad for 15 minutes a day. And I'm like, just fucking eat a snack. Like, did you do your homework? And then just get on the iPad. It's fine. 30 minutes before bed, just turn it off. Like, I feel like I'm very laid back
Mm-hmm.
in my kids' lives. And I just want them to see mom, like mom's working, like
Yeah.
mom has a job, but mom also like cooks dinner and we have fun together. And
Mhm.
so I think I want them to envision that. And so my daughter does that. She's like, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a mom. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm obviously not a mom, and everyone already knows that because I mention that like every fucking episode. Because I'm like, I don't think I'm like ever criticizing a mom. He's like, I'm not a mom, so like I can't relate in that way. But I always think about like my best friend's like daughter. Like she ever was like, oh, like I can't wait to be a cool auntie like you. That'd probably be like the greatest compliment in the world. Like that's so
Yeah.
nice that she likes that. Has your vision like for your life changed at all since you've like started the business? Like, what's the vision for the business? Do you have one?
Um, the vision for the business is you know what? Shit, I don't know. You're so deep in the questions.
I'm so
Like,
sorry. What's your favorite color? Would you prefer that question? I can ask
wow,
you that.
yeah. The vision for the business ultimately is to help more people, to be honest with you. I
Mhm,
want to like not only help like moms and other nurses to feel more comfortable in their careers as
mhm.
professionals, but
Yeah.
maybe like, do trainings with them. And
Mhm,
I think ultimately I made a vision board and my vision board just said that I want to be able to take like a 2-month vacation in the summer with my kids
mm,
and supplement my pay with that. So, the business isn't really about making all the money for me. It's about giving me more freedom to do what I want to do with my kids.
yeah.
That is my goal.
But I honestly think that's really good because one of the like pet peeves I have on like online business space, like we see
Yeah.
all the time, it's very like, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And although I think it's nice, like again, obviously I'm a business coach, it's like the 10K month and the 20K and the 30, and all those things are great. But I remember I was having a conversation with someone the other day and it reminded me of something you just said. And she's like, what's the like issue with the idea that maybe I just pay like 200K a year, and if I want to work a job I could, or if I wanted to
Mhm.
like take some time off I could. And I help a lot of people. I do it at like in a very intentional way. I'm very ethical in what I do, and I sell high ticket. I work with a lot of people, but not too many where like they can get the support they need. And if I want to take time off, I do. And if I want to only make 150K, I do. And if I want to do 250K, I
Yeah.
do. Like, what's the issue with not scaling to like seven figures? What's the issue? I'm like, there is none. Like, I think that's very respectable. And I'm really glad that you just like are being very transparent about that. Of like, your vision is not like, let me scale this thing as big as possible. I don't want
Yeah.
to like be a company. I really want a business that supports people, that takes care of them well, that I know and I feel good about, that also gives me additional financial stability, that also allows me additional opportunities, that takes the pressure off of my full-time job, but also I
Yeah.
still have like that in the background. Like, I think that that's like a really cool thing. Is your vision always to work full-time job? So never go full-time with business?
I
There's
don't
nothing
know. I mean, I don't see myself like not working a full-time job. I really do like it.
else.
Um, it's I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate my job, which is a good thing. And that's why people are like, "Are you
Mm-hmm.
sure, Jeannie? Like, are you lying?" And I'm like, "I fucking post my content, like what my day looks like. Like, I'm not lying to you. I literally post like the kids, like I literally post. I'm very honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about the bullshit. Like if you're going to ask me, I will answer it.
Yeah.
That's just my personality. And so I'm like, I'm not saying it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is doable if you want it. If your
Yeah.
mind doesn't work like mine, then it's not going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I think right now it's still going to be like my little business I do on the side because you never know what happens in corporate. Things happen,
Mm-hmm.
shifts happen in corporate, and I just want to be prepared for it too. And that's one thing why I really wanted to grow the business too, because you never know what's going to happen. And I want to make sure my family is comfortable.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Well, you know
Yeah.
what I think you need to do more in your future is be on podcasts. You're like really funny.
I don't know. My husband's like, you need to do a podcast. And I was like, why would I
No, I
record
honestly,
podcast?
it's just funny because you don't, there's like this no bullshit energy that I've always known that, but I've just never like, talked to you in like this way of like, just tell me about like your life and this, like, there's no agenda. There's no like, let's get to the strategy. There's no that. I'm like, you're really fucking funny, which is probably why you're very good at coaching because you're very like light. There's no like, I'm trying to convince you of something. You're like, this is going to be your issues. These are going to be the things you need to work on. And this is what's possible if you do it. Like you're like a natural
Maybe.
coach, which actually is why you're also probably very good at sales.
Probably. It's so funny because, like, I will, like, have a client on the phone and she's a nurse and she's like, "I cannot believe it. You were, like, exactly how I imagined you online." I'm like, "What is that supposed to mean?"
Wait,
It's like, "What?"
wait, that's a good thing though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel like, should I not be cursing so much? Like, I post content online and I don't even get monetized because everything is dinged because I say curse words. And I was like, "Well, I cannot not be myself."
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
I curse. You're a client. I curse all the fucking time. Like
That
I'm like,
is
yeah.
it's just part of this, like,
Mhm.
so I'm like, I don't know. You get what you
But
get.
also, like, business is changing. Obviously, in like a corporate setting, you're limited a little bit on like you
Yeah.
need to be probably fairly professional. But I think that's what's nice about running your business. And this is like, I mean, this is my favorite thing. I'd be curious if like yours is the exact same or something different. Probably the financial piece is a win. But for me, I'm like, I can literally do whatever I want. Like, I don't need a permission slip to do anything. I don't need approval to do anything. I could literally close my business tomorrow. I could launch 8 offers tomorrow. I could stop marketing for a week. I could literally go live
Mhm.
every single day this week. I could like change my price points. Like, you can literally do whatever the hell you want. It's like literally the best permission slip internally to just be like, I can go do whatever the hell I want. And that's like my favorite thing about my business is I also want to market in a way where people see me because like
Yeah.
I want someone like my favorite thing is when someone like works with me in coaching and they're like they had found me on Instagram or whatever and they're like you're the exact same. I'm like that's the point. Like I want people
Mhm.
to feel like very safe from my content so that when they're in my coaching they're also very safe and I feel like you're just really good at that.
Yeah, I mean, so are you, hence why I'm here.
Maybe we're actually the same person. Like actually like I think that's what we learned in this podcast episode. Like we're the exact same person. Minus the fact that you have
What?
a better shoe collection than me.
Yeah,
Do
well,
you
you have a huge closet, I don't, so
I do, but I my most expensive shoe is probably 400 bucks.
what?
Mhm.
Why?
You know why? Because like if it's a really nice shoe, I'll go quality, like super quality. But I also have quite a lot of quantities. Like a Sam Edelman loafer, don't know why, fits my foot like a glove, like just perfect. I think I own 80 pairs of Sam Edelman loafers.
I mean,
Like
they're very comfortable.
they're very comfortable. No, I know. I have a narrow foot, flat, like very, yeah, they're so fucking good. So like that, I own tons of different colors of stuff. I don't know. I've never gone luxury on the shoes, but I've gone luxury on bags. I own 18 YSL bags, and the first time I bought a YSL bag was a year ago. So
Oh
to
my
give you
gosh.
context, a year and a half ago now.
Well,
My first time I
congratulations.
bought a YSL bag. So I don't know. I think you have a better shoe collection than me, but I think outside of that, we're like the same person.
Probably, and I try not to buy my own stuff, I have my husband buy it for me.
Okay, we're not the same person. I'm buying my
We're
own.
not the same person. Yeah, because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, Imma use my own money for coaching. You could use your money to buy me something."
I freaking love it. Jeannie, I'm just so happy you came on the podcast. I think like it's very interesting hearing you talk and just being like everything you do feels so effortless, but also like I know you work your fucking ass off. And I think it's really important for people to see and hear your journey about like what you do and why you just made it like a no-brainer to make it happen. Like you were just like, whatever's in my way, I'm just gonna make it happen. I think that's really cool. Just because I know that you make it sound very easy. What has been the hardest part about business? Like leave us with like one thing that you've had to tackle and like just any tip for anyone who's like wanting to start their own business, change their careers, make a pivot, leave us
I
with some
think the hardest thing is building momentum. I think my worst part is once I get momentum, I stop and I start
Mhm,
analyzing things, thinking what else can be better. So that is the hardest part, whether it's from the beginning all the way until now,
mhm.
you get roadblocks. So it's a lot of mind, like your mind gets fucked a lot. And I think that's like the worst part of like having your own business is controlling the mind.
Yeah.
And you hear people say it all the time, like, "You're crazy." And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's so true." I literally have to do brain exercises.
Mm. Any that
It
work?
work
What
Yeah,
which
I mean, it works. I have to listen to, like, positive affirmations. I bought a journal so I could start doing, like, gratitude, and then I
oh,
s I know. It sounds crazy, and so I'm
no,
trying
like
it out.
it sounds crazy. That's like not crazy at all. That's great.
Yeah, so I think the hardest thing about running a business is
Your mind.
keeping up with it.
Mm,
And, like, not getting lost in your thoughts and
mm,
pausing and stopping. Just
mm,
keep going.
mm. Yep, makes complete sense. Okay, so if anyone wants to reach out to you, connect with you, learn more about you, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me on TikTok and Instagram,
We'll
Nurse
talk
Jeannie
for as long as
Star.
you can. We'll see. Not crazy.
Yeah.
One day that
Or
might not be relevant information anymore.
well, yeah, and then YouTube. I'm gonna have to start pivoting to YouTube.
Okay. I
So
think you should also pivot to a podcast. So when she messages me later and says, "Hey, I'm actually going to launch a podcast," I will be dropping her podcast information below. But if not, Instagram, potential YouTube coming, and TikTok, rest in peace, maybe in the future. But as of right now, is still going strong. So thanks so much for coming on the podcast, Jeannie. I'm so
thank
happy.
you for having me.
Of course. Talk to you soon.